that I had. But I also noticed when I was handing them off, a lot of them uh, credit wasn't in
Got
position.
alien in the back.
Yeah, I was, but man, calm down. Got to keep the match. You know, busting me out with the alien. But their credit wasn't in position, so I also had to hand them off to other people to get their credit in position, so that way they could move forward and proceed to go forward with funding. And that just kind of like sparked it for me as far as my financial journey because I just got tired of handing people off. And sometimes when I would hand them off, I would lose that client because maybe that other company customer service wasn't just like mine. You know, I'm very hands-on. I love to be transparent with the clients. I definitely want them to understand um, the way things flow, so that way that they can teach it. You get what I'm saying? Whatever that we're doing. And so with that, I had to go ahead and go back in the lab and change my whole business model. And so I started pouring into myself as far as the knowledge, so that way I wouldn't have to hand it off, and that way I could still deliver that good customer experience, you know, by just what they was already accustomed to for working with me. So you know that that wouldn't change. And then as I started learning credit, that started boosting, opening other doors and sparked other interests as far as the business side. I've been in business for quite some time. We'll probably maybe get into that later. But yeah, that was definitely the catalyst for me on this journey. And then after that, it's just been all gas, no brakes.
I love it. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. Natasha, you got any questions for the king?
Yeah. So tell us what's a challenge that you overcame?
Uh, that's funny. One of the challenges has actually become one of my, I feel, greatest strengths. And what I mean by that, one of the challenges was the relocation.
Mm.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. Um I relocated the first time from a small town and went to a much bigger city, a city that I didn't have no resources, so I didn't know none of the people there. I really didn't even know the city like that. But I went ahead, kept my head down, bootstrapped everything, and just truly got on my grind, built new relationships, uh, got new resources from those relationships that I was able to build. And of course, by me moving around town, wiggling the way I do, I've learned the town, plugged in more into the community, be it through church or other foundations, uh, just reaching out to other people, putting them in position, employing them. So
Hmm.
that's how I got familiar with the town. And thus, it became more of just a talent, something easy for me to do. And so when I came out here to California, thus I, I had to do it all over again. You know, I came out here to Cali. I didn't know nobody out here in Cali. Um, didn't know my way around Sacramento, none of that. All everything started all over, and within the three years, a couple of different businesses, the franchise owner. We help with consulting and business funding. So that was a challenge, but taking that challenge on head first, that's why I say it's become a strength now because I just got to it. It's not uncomfortable for me no more. You know, I've been able to grow, and that might have been because of that past military background with having to move around a lot. But that's just one of the challenges. I know a lot of people might they would stop. You know, once you move to a certain location, you don't know nobody, and then you don't know where your next dollar is coming from. You don't have nobody to ask for nothing. You know, a lot of people would get discouraged on that, but that's one of the main challenges that I encourage people to push through. Push through.
Yeah.
That's a big change, you know what I'm saying? And change is scary. So big up to you for making that leap of faith and stepping out Maybe.
Facts.
Because I wouldn't have met you, I don't think. Well, maybe.
Oh, no, that's one of the greatest things. But I mean, I don't want to, you know,
Was
jump.
meeting me, Chauncie? Go on and tell everybody.
Yeah. No, very powerful, man. Very powerful. I definitely feel your network is definitely your net worth. But not only that, there's times that you got to plug into other individuals who are not draining your energy, and that's not just taken from your cup. Also, they're reciprocating their energy back to you, so you're able to recharge. They're pouring back into your tank. So, no, great, yeah, this is a great relationship. Definitely, that is definitely one of the things that helped me help empower me to take relationships.
Yeah, that's huge because you touched on one thing, and I wanna touch on that as well. You going to Northern Cal, not knowing anybody, run into the people like Natasha, run into people that are actually doing things when it comes to entrepreneurship, allows you, yes, to make the connections, but also it builds more knowledge into your avenue. And at the same time, relationships is everything. And that's what a lot of people kind of get that misconstrued, because when you go into a new environment, me personally, I've been through so many different schools, so many different state to state, and I understood the power of being new to somewhere, because now you can now grow your environment and grow the people around you, which in hence grows you in your, like, anything you're doing, especially if you get around the right people, right? I got a mentor that says, if you're around, if you're the smartest person in the room or in your circle, you're not in a circle, you're in a cage. At the same time, that's true, because you're only as smart as the people around you and the knowledge that you do have. And if you're the smartest person, like, where are you getting the extra from? Like, where's the room to grow? So the fact that you're able to not only go into another environment and grow and expand your clientele, grow and expand your resources, that within itself is superpower that everybody has, but everybody doesn't have the confidence to actually put it into action and execute. So salute to you, Ken, because that's literally one of the most important things when it comes to success. Like, we have to learn how to grow with other people. People say no new friends. Like, that was the worst song ever. I don't even remember what song it was, but I hated it. I was like, yo, what do you mean? We need new friends. Like, all these old people are just either bringing you down or keeping you from going to the next level. And there is no real growth within that. You know what I mean? Unless y'all are both expanding your horizons at the same time. But that is huge. So once again, shout out to you. That's major when it comes to entrepreneurship and being able to advance in the whole, like, territory that you're not aware of, or that you haven't grown up in. Because a lot of people are stuck. They're stuck in the same city.
Look at it, but yeah, no, I look at it as a couple of ways. For one, we got to think about as a seed, your foundation, and if your ground and your soil isn't good for you, it's not nurturing to that seed can't develop, that seed can't grow. So once you need to move to soil where you can go ahead and pull good nutrients from, where you can go ahead and get good information, you can feed yourself. And from the spiritual standpoint, it's imagination, uh, it's communication, it's unification, and then it's implementation.
Come on now, let's go. Yeah.
So it has to start from there. You're strong when you're more than one. So I had the vision of the company and building up the company. Cool. Second thing was I needed to communicate that. I had to tell people that this is what I do. This is who I am. This is what I need. Then I had to, like I spoke with the soil, I had to surround myself by like-minded individuals, people that's going to feed me, that I can get that nurture from, being around other entrepreneurs, because only other entrepreneurs can only truly understand what an entrepreneur goes through.
Facts. Yeah.
So I definitely had to surround that. And then I had to build out teams and systems, which is another important part. That's the third thing, communication. You know what I mean? And excuse me, unification. When you build out that team and you set up some systems, now you got your unification together. And now You go to the next phase, which is the implementation. You know what I'm saying? Now you start applying that. Now you start leveraging those resources. Now you start, and boom, from there, that seed that was in that soil, that's that sprout. That's that head that comes up from that seed. So now after you start implementing those things, uh, from that work that you do from that, you'll soon have a harvest in due time. As long as you stay committed and stay true to your goal.
Yeah,
And
facts.
what's the goal, man? Achieving a short term expectation, man.
Let's get it. Let's get it. What's like your the greatest advice you would give someone that's tapping into not only entrepreneurship but learning the credit game so that they can leverage TBM, the bank's money, and OPM, other people's money, to get into entrepreneurship as a whole?
Uh, First, never stop learn. Never stop learning. You gotta always be a sponge. Um, Again, we talk about being. You know, the three levels. You know, being, having, excuse me, being, doing, and then having. So the being is the mindset, understanding, constantly educating yourself. As we are in the information stage and generation, so information is constantly changing. I mean, we see it on TV every day with these celebrities. You know, 1 minute they're popping, by the end of that day, uh, something else would have been done happen. I mean, like these
You just
channels,
seen it.
right? The channels can't keep up with the information the way that it's flowing. So you got to constantly educate yourself, be a sponge, stay humble. Uh, like you said, if you can't learn from someone in your circle, you need to change your circle, or you need to change your circles. You need to by the influencing your circle enough to where they want to change. That's what I mean. So if they're so close minded to where they don't want to change, that's bad soil. You need to relocate, audit your friends. Uh, but then, yeah, just not only that, study what the rich do.
That's huge.
Success, yeah, success leaves clues all the time. Definitely stay in the now mindset. No opportunity wasted. You know, once you get information, you need to execute because repetition is key.
Right.
You know, and how you know if it doesn't work or not if you don't actually run the play.
Great advice. Great advice. And just to recap the room, we are on the call with Mr. 365, serial entrepreneur, Army vet. And hey, man, y'all know who we got on the side of us. We got Miss Natasha Bass, top of the game of the realtor game. She literally is on my list #1 when it comes to this realtors game, and she has a lot of information to share. And just so y'all know, this is king and queen of credit. We literally give our flowers and get our hats off to the best and the most prominent people in the credit game. Natasha, go ahead. I know you got a couple questions for Chauncie.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, if you had a time machine, right, and you could just like start all over, because sometimes we be going, and there's lessons and blessings. There's blessings in those lessons, right? When you look back, you be like, dang, I could have done this different. What would you have done different if you can rewind and start over again?
Again, educating myself as quickly as possible about financing. I mean, consumer laws, about credit, uh, about trust. Uh, you know, there's so many different avenues. Trading. You know, there's just so much information. I stood in the way of myself at a young age because I didn't throw myself into learning. You feel what I'm saying? So that's definitely one thing that I would go back and talk with myself about. Definitely push more into the financial stuff for me because this is stuff that they don't teach you in school. You know,
Right.
so I would definitely suggest some books for me to read that I would definitely need to check into. But hold on, let me make sure I got it in perspective. You mean me going back or me talking to my past self? Because now
Talk
if
to
it's
your
just
past self. Talk to
oh,
you.
okay. Okay, then
Tell
yeah,
you about you and what
then
you
yeah,
do
then yeah,
so
there's
we can hear
definitely
you.
some books that I would recommend to myself to go ahead and get into. And reason I say early is because at an early age we could already start leveraging credit. I could have already been jumping on AUs, even though maybe my household wasn't real strong on credit knowledge, but that's information that I could have brought back to the village to feed. You know what I mean? And so I could have already been jumping on AUs. About time I came to 18, I would have already had good credit. I would have already understand how I can liquidate cards and just pay the 10% that way, or
Wait, hold
very.
on, hold on. Whoa. Okay.
Pull up
AU,
credit.
real quick, just so because we got a lot of beginners on the call, well, that will be listening to as well. AUs, just tackle that real quick. What is an AU? And then let's get into that liquidating credit because we already know that's some sauce on top of the sauce. Like it could be regular information to the person that's an expert in the game, but for the people that's actually learning AUs, and then we can get into MS.
Well, AUs are authorized users. That's for the parents out there. Put your kids on your authorized user. That's adding them to your credit line.
Only
So
if you
by
got good credit, though. I'm telling everybody. Somebody,
Well,
some of them need to get on somebody else's.
but not even, but yeah, not even only that. There's other programs where you can go ahead and to build out your credit. But being knowledgeable of just knowing those programs would have been helpful at an early age. And then not only that, I really would have been shifting to the LLCs as well. But the reason that you would want to go back, I don't want to go into that tangent. But the reason you would want to do the AU is because it would build up your child's credit quickly. You can monitor how much they spend on it, so they can't go over it. But you're also teaching them responsibility at the same time. Me, I started working at the age of 11, so I was already familiar with financials and everything. That's why I say it. Just these pieces of the puzzle known at a known at an early age, yeah, yeah, probably before I was 21, 22, I probably could have already been a multi-millionaire just off the leverage of credit and knowing the understanding of how money moves.
That's real. Golly. Okay, those of you who don't know or just tapping into the credit, definitely like Mr. 365 said, AUs. When it comes to authorized users, definitely you want to have at least 2 to 3, no more than that, because you want to have enough accounts that will show that you can be trusted, right? So if you do have 2 AUs, definitely have 5 to 7 primary accounts with just your name in it, right? Because at the same time, if you don't have enough, banks can't trust you. We talk about relationships on this podcast all the time. And if you don't build solid relationships just like you would with your friend with these banks, they're not going to give you the max amount of money. They might even give you a little amount of money. So it's important to not only build relationships with people that have great credit, but also build your own credit as your personal credit as an individual so that you can show that you're credit worthy and you can actually go and get the bags that these credit unions are giving, and also capitalize on the perks on these corporations that are having relationships with the banks. So it's not just us as consumers that's building relationships, it's literally other corporations building relationships with the banks too, which gives us perks to go into these suites with basically paying for a regular room and basically paying for economy cars and driving off in exotics. Like this is the things that are happening and the people that we are surrounded by, especially when it comes to the realtor game. Like people are getting these 0% for 15 months, 0% 18 months, liquidating their cards, getting the FHA loan, putting that 5-8% whatever down, boom, and they in the crib. You know what I mean? So I highly suggest you do more research on credit. Definitely tap into Mr. 365. Tap into Miss Tosh, the realtor, and get all the game you need necessary. I tell people when you get enough information, now it's time to go do your own research and then implement it. And then you'll guarantee to see some sort of results. If it's So if the results don't come out like you want them to, that's just a learning experience. It's not a failure. It's only a failure if you stop. If you stop, it's over. You 6 feet under, it's done. But if you keep going, you're bound to hit greatness. You're bound to get on the top of the mountain. At the same time, you have to be surrounded by the right people. So I'm privileged to be surrounded by Mr. 365 and Tasha, because at the same time, I honestly, I could get to where I am now, but not as fast as quickly as I have, because people around me just catapult me to a whole nother level. So once again, shout out to you, Mr. 365. Tasha, shout out to you. Is the question on me?
Yeah.
Or it's on me? Okay. So let's get it. All right. So based off of the time machine, those great information. At the same time, this is where the sauce come into play. And I highly suggest y'all, whatever answer he gives, write this down, do your research, and execute. Because when it comes to the resources and tools, a lot of people are hiding this information. So Chauncie, when it comes to resources and tools, what resources and what tools do you utilize when it comes to this credit game? Like what should we be using to get this 850 or to 750? Like what do we need to tap into?
Okay. I think that was like a twofold question.
Yes, sir.
Um, as far as let me go, I would say the credit. Let me start with the credit, because I specialize in the business. So I might get long-winded over here in the business. But
Talk your
let me
talk. Talk
start.
your talk.
Let me start with the personal. Uh, you definitely want to make sure what's on your credit reports. Make sure all your addresses, everything is matching up. That's first thing, and that's a quick and easy way to start knocking stuff off of your credit report. Accounts that's tied to old addresses, or um, let's just say this name has a middle initial, and you normally don't use the middle initial, but that's falsely reporting, and that's a violation of your consumer report. So they need to remove that. So you need to go ahead and have that removed. Um, you need to also be tapping into free annual credit report so you can actually be mindful of what's on your credit report. And then you can see who's reporting, what's reporting. If you have high DTI, uh, you need to tap into cards that give 0% transfer, where you can go ahead and switch over that balance, and then you don't have to pay interest on that balance. So check into your credit doctor, those type of accounts. You know what I mean? Uh, when you're going into these banks, making sure that you're asking the rep questions about their products and everything. You got to remember that they're to service you. They're in business because of you. You do take your money to the bank and allow them to make money off of your money. So you might as well get something out the deal. So definitely handle that. Um, and you want to get in a position. Normally, 680. Some banks will start messing with you, depending on if those key points are all as they should be. You have 100% paid history, no delinquency, low increase. I mean, y'all are tapped into Mr. Royal Credit, so I know y'all already know those bulletins. So I'm not going to even get too long-winded on that. But once you get that 650, that does open up a couple of other cards that allow you to get, so you can start building it up more. If you don't know those cards, you can definitely tap in. I got a free lenders list in my IG bio, which is at the bottom. Chauncie Mr. 365. Click the bio, go to free lenders list, and it breaks down which cards that you can get at which credit score, and it tells you which bank pulls from which bureau. So that's also like a little guide that allows you to uh, go ahead and run up that score. Now, on the business side, which is my favorite, you know, the reason it's my favorite is because you can still access money without your credit score being where it's at. Like you have to on the personal side. You can still access that bag because over there It's all about the proper building out your business correctly. And I mean with your true net 30 accounts, not just any net 30 accounts. You need net 30 accounts that's that correlates with your business, because that means you're going to actually use those accounts. You know what I mean? And then that way you can build that credit up further. You need to have other accounts that's supporting on your business accounts. Again, which we give plenty of free ebooks that breaks down that. We also give resources that also reports to your business credit as well. And not only with your business credit, you can access way larger funds. And there's more cards that you can get with 0% over that. So let me for example, you go out there and you start your LLC. There's much more beneficials for starting an LLC, which we definitely get into once you tap in our class. But just to keep everything short, but you start that business and you start building out these business credits. Now you get these credit cards, and let's say on your personal side, your debt to income ratio is high over there. Now you can move some of that debt over there to your business side, because your business doesn't report to your personal. You feel what I'm saying? So instead of even transferring it over there just within your personal to a card that allows you to do balance transfer, now you can just take it up out of your personal file altogether and put it on your business side where it's not even reporting. So now your debt to a ratio is down. So now you done knock that down, you need to go ahead and implement them other cards. And now you can start building it up. Now they see that you're reporting, your debt, your DTI is down. That's going to help run up that score on both sides. And again, it was another way that you leverage your business.
Hey, that's good game. That's great game. Y'all might have to run this back. That's definitely great game. Go ahead.
Two birds with one stone, man. You're moving it over to your business, 0% cards, and you're still continuing to pay. Now on your business side, they see that you are paying your bills, which is one of the major factors in building up your paydex score to pay your bills. Boom. So that's how you can truly help yourself and position yourself with the credit. Not only that, you can set up multi-dollar avenues with your business credit. You get more perks, way more perks when you're a business owner or entrepreneur versus in the consumer side, unless you know consumer law, which again gets into a whole different tangent, and we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But with your business, you got access to corporate cards. You know what I'm saying? You got access to extra suites. You got access to maybe events that was all sold out, but because you have a business card, now you get the other person other people don't get. Now you're privy to a table that they hold just for you, for their business partners who have these type of perks. And I mean, it's just so many different ways that you can move around with your business, even with the investments. I mean, come on, we got a realtor right here on the line. I'm pretty sure she's quick to tell you it's the best to put some of your properties in LLCs, because it's about protection, and then even with that, you can go a step further. For some states offer you the anonymity, so they can't even see who owns the business. So that's another layer of protection when you have a LLC. So with the LLC, that means that's protecting your personal assets. That's what I mean when I say protection. For those that don't know, you will always want to get a business where you can protect your personal assets. And again, that's what it's all about. You put in this time of work where you can build generational wealth, where you can provide for your family. You don't want a mishap to occur, and then all of a sudden now your family is up. I mean, moving out here in Cali, I see they quick to do anything, so you got to be on top of it. Man, a person can rob you, trip in your yard while he trying to get away and sue you.
They take little things.
So yeah.
Chauncie, let me ask you this: is there a time frame that you would recommend in regards to somebody starting out? What is there a time frame that they should wait before they start transferring personal into their business? And you know what I mean?
You know, with me,
Wow.
I feel like you do gotta break a couple of eggs to make some omelets. You know, this is not financial advice, but I
Sorry.
would if it was me, and let's just say I was in a rush to go ahead and get my DTI down. I would go ahead and purposely open up an account. It would probably be maybe like just a bank that I don't care about. Let's just say that. You know, there's
Bank of the West. West.
yeah. I thought about it, but I wasn't even going. I wasn't even.
Nah, I hear you. Go ahead.
I didn't want to come. I didn't want to come with that bad negative mojo. You know what I'm saying?
I take it. I take
By
it.
even speaking on them. But there's plenty of
They not
other.
approving you for nothing else.
Oh, that's real. That's real.
Forget them. I don't like y'all anyway. See, but no, you'll go with a bank that you don't care about, or maybe not a tier one, not one of the national banks, of course. You know what I mean, because you're going to need them. But I would go ahead and get that account set up, and then I would just go ahead and move it immediately, as long as you're not maxing out the card. You don't want to max out your business card within the first month. That automatically draws a flag on you with the other bank. So I wouldn't say if your debt is large enough where it's going to max out that card. Um, but at the exact same time, the business doesn't report to your personal. So you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. You could, again, this is not financial advice. Take your debt, depending on how many different debts you got, layer it up in your cards, right? And then okay, you're in debt over here for maybe 1,200. You're in debt over here for this for maybe 3,000. You couldn't stay away from that Louis Vuitton bag that you wanted. You had to go get that. So that's another 7,000 over there that you owe. Layer these different debts with different cards, and then start off with the smaller one first. So you can go ahead and build up the momentum. It's inside your business, so it's 0% interest. You get what I'm saying? So you can go ahead, you'll knock off that smaller one, and that's how I would play. And I hope that answered the question a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just want to add, if you're actually starting these relationship with these banks, one thing y'all need to do is opt out of check systems, because check systems is a secondary reporting agency that will follow you in real time on which banks you're opening up your accounts with. So if you open it up too many with check system not frozen, you will get flagged. That happened to me. I was on a roll. I opened up five banks in one day. In my fifth bank, they said we can't open up an account. Like, I'm not applying for anything. They're like, no, we can't open up an account because check system just gave us a notification. So I say that to say, freeze check system, opt out, and go ahead and run up these relationships with these banks. For sure. Another question that we do have, we are coming to a close. We're 30 minutes in. We got 2 more questions, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. When it comes to credit, you gave so much game, but what's top 3 tips that you would give to somebody starting out? Top 3 things.
Make sure you have your systems and you do everything properly. As far as setting up, we want to make sure when you have your EIN number, you set that up properly. Your LLC, before you do any of that, you want to make sure your business name and domain is accessible before you go through the point of setting up everything. And the reason that you want to make sure everything is set up proper on that end is because when you go into these banks for your business, these are things that they're going to look at. So I definitely leveraging a business is number one. Starting an LLC, but just make sure that you're setting it up right. That's the number one thing. Do that. Number 2, if you are not in position on the personal side, while you're building your business and you're getting that funding and you're using that money to do what you got to do, take some of that money and invest back in yourself and get your personal and everything together. You know, so that because that can help you on the flip side of the business. Even though I say you can still get money by having a low personal credit score, it does help. So that way you can get larger cards on the business side. So I don't want to neglect that. Like that's not a big thing.
Yeah,
Uh, and number three, definitely not least of the three, make sure you build them relationships. Constantly building relationships, not only with the banks, but other people that's in that space. You know what I mean? You can get good with these hard money lenders. You know, those are people outside of the bank. You may, if you have a business where you're trying to, there's gonna be times where the banks are going to say no. So to have access to these other resources that will give you front is lovely. And not only that, if you got extra sauce, you can go ahead and get that hard money lender money from there. Take that, go open up a secured loan, and throw that in the bank. And now you got another primary line report because you're going to have to pay back that secured loan. So I mean, you could, you know, you could do business with Peter and maybe convince him to come over here and play with Paul, so you can go ahead and build yourself up. But those are the main three things, so man, that I definitely would say. You know, you need to start with those.
Man, you dropped a lot of gems, Chauncey. I was like trying to keep it like, dang, that's good. That's good information.
Oh
You
man,
dropped so much information. And I want to ask you, what's one question that we probably did not ask you that you feel that everybody should know? Because you know something we don't know.
Yeah, I can hear it too, Natasha. You know, so.
What you know we don't know, Chauncey.
Man, hey, I know y'all know a lot, man. Y'all coming, so I definitely have to bow down to y'all. Man, I'm still a student myself. I would definitely say trust the process, man. We talked about being, doing, and having. That is the outline of being successful. The being part is actually gaining the knowledge, understanding, and visualizing and seeing the person that you want to be. So by seeing that person that you want to be, uh, that helps go to the next stage, which is doing. So now you implement that steps to be that person. You know, but if it's you want to be in shape, you want to see yourself. Uh, I don't know, just better mentally or your physical aspect or maybe your appearance. When you see yourself as that millionaire down the line, okay. But what do you think that millionaire's habits is? They're getting up, you know what I mean, early in the morning. They're reading the right stuff. They're watching what they're feeding their subconscious. They're not just feeding their subconscious any BS because they understand that what I feed my subconscious is what my subconscious will attract to me out here in reality. That's why I say it's important to us find yourself out of like-minded individuals. So that way that energy can bring more good energy. Uh, and then after you get past the doing part, being that person, implementing all those steps to be that person, will come to have. We're so quick to say, I'm manifesting my reality. I'm manifesting my reality. We want the having part before we even do the doing part. How you trying to come straight to the house before you went to first base, second base, or third base? You didn't even make your rounds. You haven't done the sacrifice, you know. And we definitely understand what success. Sacrifice is the payment for success.
Right.
I love it.
So yeah, you got to be able to be willing to do that.
Let's get it. Let's go.
I feel like you like Ellen May right now. I got too much sauce. We don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with all this sauce, Chauncey.
I feel like I ain't really give enough, man. You know, I know I can get vocal about it. So that's one thing that I do like to give to my customers, man. 'Cause it is. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of sauce. It just really depends on how saucy you like your plate. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm from the South. We're drenched. You feel what I'm
You
saying?
you want spaghetti or fettuccine? Like what you
Well,
want?
it's a buffet. It's a buffet game over here, man. It's never ending, man. Hey,
For sure. No, I definitely appreciate you, man. If y'all not following Mr. 365, definitely give him a follow. His name is on the bottom there. And if you are not following Miss Tosh, definitely follow Natasha Bass at Miss Realtor Tosh. She's got a lot of game when it comes to the realtor game. We definitely gonna have her side of the story when it comes to the realtor game. So definitely tap in, tune in. If you did not catch all the game that Chauncie dropped, we are having a Credit Ninjas class. This is something to credit that we do. This is season 2. We're going to talk about credit to cash, and I guarantee you want to be there because this is how you can maximize your credit, turn it to cash, and then tap into realtor game. Tap into whatever it is that you desire when it comes to getting cash flow. And when it comes to cash flow, we are having a project coming up. Tap into all these kings and queens that you see speaking, and they'll give you more information about it. But once again, Mr. 365, man, we appreciate you once again. Y'all tap in with Mr. 365 for sure, for sure. At the same time, we are all headed to the top, but the bottom is way too crowded. But we will never look down on anybody unless we're willing to help y'all up, man. Blessings on top of more blessings. Natasha, you got any information or you have any game you want to drop on somebody that's actually just looking to grow in life? Any last comments that you do have?
You know what? I think we were just talking about this before the call. There's two things that I always go to, like whenever because life happens, right? And sometimes we feel overwhelmed. We feel like we're not doing enough, or we feel like we're doing too much, but it's still not enough. And just, through every lesson, my biggest thing is grow through what you go through, and keep going and keep growing, But one of the things that I just heard, and I was like, man, it was so profound, is don't be mad at the results you get from the work you didn't do, So as long as you keep putting in that work, you can't eat a whole elephant at one time. You got to chew that bad boy. You got to take your time and chew it up. And so just take your time and do one step at a time, and just know that if you take a step back, then man, take 2 steps forward. You know what I'm saying? But keep going and keep growing and keep going, man. And just know that it's going to happen. And mindset is everything. So JJ, you touch a lot on mindset. So get your mind right so you can get them checks right and keep going.
Let's go. I love it. Let's go.
Yeah.
There you have it. This is the kings and queens of credit, man. Like I said, we're going to run this thing back. We might even have a part 2 of Mr. 365. But at the same time, we got Natasha Bass coming up. We ain't dropping dates yet, but at the same time, y'all tap in, stay tuned in, and let's get it. Blessings on top of more blessings, man.
Yes.
let's go.
Love everybody.
Let's get it.